You can easily lose track of all the things you can now do in Enshrouded with the new Thralls of Twilight update. But after over 200 hours on this save and a full world map explored, I want to share with you guys what I think are all the essentials for the endgame, farms you want to get ready ASAP. Quickly secure the most valuable items, get your hands on the best legendary gear fast, prepare top tier snacks, must-have skills for everyone to get the most out of your builds, a zero effort method to get building blocks that normally take forever to craft, simply get you more than ready for all the challenges ahead. Let it be fighting dragons or insane building projects, so let's get straight down to business. I want to give a massive shout out to Keen Games, Enshrouded developers, for making today's video possible. As usual, I've got timestamps in the description so you can find everything super fast whenever you need it, if for example you revisit this video later and want to quickly get to the point. I want to encourage you to also share your favorite farms and locations basically to get your hands on everything talked about in today's video. Alright, let's start off with a quick base tour, as I've spent like over 150 hours on this specific character save, and yeah, I wanted to have farms set up and ready to make my life a whole lot easier. Pretty much automate the process of crafting arrows. We've got a whole lot more resource animals inside this barn with, of course, top tier snacks, which we're going to cook during this video. All the different crafting stations at the front right here, and all the essential townsfolk inside with a couple animals. I think it's a pretty less is more interior, I would say, with a pretty efficient layout to get my hands on the maximum rested level, but also have everything very close to each other, so you don't have to walk forever to get something done. If we check out the first floor, I've got all the townsfolk right here as well. They're kind of locked behind this door, but yeah, you're not really gonna need them after you've completed their quests. I also got quite a lot of questions from people on previous videos who asked me where exactly I decided to build my base. And that's a good one because I had quite a lot of requirements. First off, I wanted to have enough sun because it's terrible to constantly live in the shades. The sun is just rising right now, so you can tell that the lighting right here is beautiful. But yes, we are located in the Albanese summits. I decided to build it on a plateau, so it's pretty much impossible for enemies to reach my base. If we quickly run to this side right here with a max level flame shrine or altar, nothing is gonna spawn right here. If we take out our hammer, this is the end or the border basically, which is still super far away from our base. Let's quickly run all the way to the end, take out that hammer. As you can see, yeah, it's impossible for mobs to spawn right here. But I think it just looks really nice with this plateau. It's a place with a beautiful view. If we just quickly glide over the base, this is what it looks like from the skies. We also have an updraft right there, so it's going to be easy to reach the other side of the big canyon right here, where we have a pretty interesting farm for feathers. As right here you can find the Balefire Garrison Windward, the Hidden Tomb entry with a ton of those dragon birds popping up, while this is what it looks like on the map. We've got 4 green flags around it, as yeah, with 9 altars it's pretty difficult to see where you need to go in the world, but it's right in between the Howling Peak and the event Honor Hall. Also just a little bit above the Bittermelt Lake basically, right in between the Pretty Patty Pumpkin Farm as well as the Pumpkin Patch. So if you want to get your hands on pumpkins, this is also where you can do that, but in general I think it's a pretty safe, cozy spot where you don't have to deal with bad guys, and there is basically plenty of room to build something majestic. I decided to get rid of all the stones right here so I can just build something inside the rocks. I'm also thinking about building a hobbit home at some point, but yeah, this is what I like to have as an efficient headquarters, let's say. So the first thing, probably also one of the most important farms I want to talk about, is to secure some legendary equipment of the highest level, 35, which can be upgraded to 40, with of course also a gem slot. I've got a whole lot of different rings right here as well, which you can use to take your build to the next level, but especially the weapons I think are super important to basically start dealing a whole lot more damage. When you have these, you always want to visit your blacksmith, as right here you can enhance the gear, take it to level 5 to increase the damage with some special attributes. But the farm itself, that's still working like a charm, can be found in the northern part of the Albanese summits. This is where we have the Hollow Halls icon, north of the Gem Forge and the Spooky Tomb. But if we check out this place, I have a quick travel set up right in front of this gear chest. So this is where we arrive. All we have to do right now is go to the chest and pick it up. Check it out, already get an instant legendary weapon. On single player, you can just simply get back to the main menu and reboot your world save to basically rinse and repeat the farm, basically cheese your way on getting legendaries. This time we get an Ice Blade, now an Ignited Hammer. Sometimes, of course, you will find a purple, this case a Blizzard Wand, but as you can see, every single weapon right here comes with 35, which can be upgraded to 40 if legendary, while the purples can only be upgraded 4 times, so 39. We're gonna salvage this one, but that's basically how you can get your hands on the best gear in the game super fast. It's pretty important though that with the Flame Shrine, when you set it up, it has to be just in front of the chest. If you place it with the yellow line overlapping the chest, it's simply gonna prevent it from respawning the loot, so you don't want to mess this up. This location makes it also very easy to upgrade your gear afterwards. Simply make your way to the south, visit the Gem Forge and suck at some amazing gems inside, for which I already have an ultimate guide you can find in the top right of the screen. But let's move on to another super important farm to basically get your gems to the highest level. I already shared the most important gem locations in a guide you can find in the top right of the screen, as well as all the Archaic Essence you can find during your adventures. But especially for the end game, of course, you want to know the absolute best spot to farm high-level Archaic Essence, specifically in the Albanese summits, which is right next to the Balefire stronghold Ironheart. Northwest of it, you will find a Shroud lair under the ancient obelisk. It's pretty well hidden in the shroud. You want to basically glide all the way down right here and enter it from the south. This is where we see the entrance, which is a little cave system. We can simply glide in there, and this is already where you will find your first foes. I just like to use my updraft and instantly reach the higher levels where we have these critters. They will start going ham. Let's just quickly take care of them. Wow, that final one was pretty annoying. Let's also quickly deal with a guard right here. Ooh, look at that. This one already drops a Gem of Gold Composure. I think an amazing place where you can pick up this item. But yes, this location can be farmed like crazy for Archaic Essence. Now, only a little bit southwest of the Shroud lair on the map. Simply take out your pickaxe and get your hands on the highest level Archaic Essence right here by mining. Break the web wall right here, which brings you to probably my favorite spot to farm high-level Archaic Essence. You can not just mine all the orange stuff, but also take the plants. Probably the most efficient method on acquiring these. While you also want to take out these flaming laser eye dudes, as they also drop a lot of this every time when you hit them. So we've talked about securing the best legendary equipment in the game and also upgrade it with Archaic Essence of the highest level. For this, you want to be at the best Gem Forge. This is one of those which you can find just a little bit south of the Hollow Halls, while I've heard multiple people talk about one inside this specific Night Sanctum. That would help you get those gems to level 50. I haven't been to this place yet because honestly, I think gems aren't really life-changing for the endgame. I mean, they come with some pretty cool bonuses and I've probably unlocked every single one of them you can find by now, but for the endgame, they aren't life-changing in terms of dealing more damage to enemies. Maybe you guys have some ideas to make the gem system better for the endgame. Share them in the comments to help the developers maybe improve this feature. Anyways, next super important topic, snacks. Right now there are so many different dishes you can make. With the new resources you can make the Shadow Bloom wrap that comes with Constitution, Shroud Protection, we've got the Kala Luna soup, the Glimmer Gentian tea, etc, etc. Still though, in my opinion, the OG meals are simply the best. Beef stew is probably the most important one for every single build. Even though it comes with strength, it also has health regeneration Constitution, which means more HP, and Frost Resistance. It's a little bit more difficult to make with eggs, raw fatty meat, tomatoes and frizzy goat milk, but I share all these items with my previous resource guides. I just take all the frizzy milk from my farm, which comes with an infinite supply of that. But the second most important snack in my opinion is this one right here, the milkshake. Plus endurance, plus stamina recharge and plus dexterity, which means you get more stamina, you deal more damage with daggers and ranged attacks. I'm gonna talk about caster alternatives. But once again, a super simple dish to make, for which you're gonna need also frizzy goat milk, snow and strawberries. For strawberries, you simply wanna get to the starter zone and farm in the woods right here. You can even make your own farm. That's what I like to do if I decide to build something like this. Well, my third favorite snack would be the pumpkin soup. Comes with 6 health regen, 4 stamina recharge and also frost resistance. So combine that with the beef stew and that's plus 10 health regen. Again, slightly more difficult to make, but still super simple if you know where to farm. We need purple berries, again the frizzy goat milk, gentians and pumpkins. This is probably my favorite farm to get my hands on different resources for this dish. From the ancient spire Albaneve summits, you want to fly straight down to the southwest. This is where you can find a small watchtower just above the shroud with different interesting locations. Right here you can pick up chanterelles, which are mushrooms for probably the best mage dish in the game with a whole lot of spirit and intellect, while right here we have a ton of gentians very close to each other. So all we have to do is jump from this altar, fly down and voila, this is where you can find a whole lot of them right next to each other. So it's gonna be super easy to pick up this resource. We've got another one right here and you're gonna have this dish ready in no time if you also plant some purple berries and pumpkins at your base. Check it out, right now we can make a whole lot of these. Probably the easiest snack you can make, grilled yucca fruit. For only 1 yucca fruit comes with plus 20 stamina recharge, which is amazing for mining and travel in general. Simply make your way to the Ancient Spire Kindle Waste and fly around it, take out all the palm trees and gather this resource super fast. Well, for Shroud survival, I think the Cala Luna soup is pretty decent with plus 3 dex, not amazing. Same counts for the Glimmer Gentian Tea, 5 minutes Shroud protection, but only 3 minutes charge. We also have the Shadow Bloom wrap right here with plus 4 constitution or extra HP. All pretty decent, but my absolute favorite mage meal or dish would be this one. Plus 5 spirit, plus 5 intelligence and plus 2 mana recharge, for which, yes, you're gonna need that chanterelle. Now you might be thinking, ooh, that's a lot of different snacks for him, but good news is you can actually consume up to 4 with specific skills, which we're going to talk about in a second. My absolute favorites would be simply to eat the beef stew, the milkshake, the pumpkin soup and the yellow glow soup all at the same time with a high stamina recharge and of course a lot of endurance. We can simply keep running, exploring, mining forever. With a high spirit, we can also keep using our glider or updraft ability, or focus on spellcasting, a lot of strength and dex for dealing damage, and constitution, of course, for survivability. For specifically gathering resources, I like to take the grilled yucca fruit, because then the stamina will recharge like crazy. And Shroud Adventures, I think Glimmer Gentian Tea and Cala Luna soup are gonna be amazing as well. Keep in mind that you can only use 1 snack per category. That's why I absolutely love this combination, because the beef stew is a meat type of food, the milkshake is a liquid, the pumpkin soup is a fruit type, grilled yucca fruit is a sweet, and the yellow glow soup is a mushroom. You can even add more to these, as the Glimmer Gentian Tea and the Cala Luna soup are night plants, so these are also compatible with whatever combination you like to eat. Now you might be wondering if it's also worth focusing on consumables, like healing bandages of a higher level, or potions even, that can of course help you to instantly heal up all the damage you take. Honestly, I think these are a little bit overrated and they are super expensive to craft these days with Shroud Vapor. If we quickly check out the laboratory, you're gonna need all this for the Shroud Vapor. So every time when you craft one of them, you're gonna have to go through a very big process of crafting. So honestly, I don't really think they're worth it. If you find them randomly, you can upgrade them with Glimmer Gentians, which is super easy to do, especially because they come with a very nice plus 50 health per second over 10 seconds. Right now I can make a whole lot of these just for free, while you can also achieve a pretty decent result with the revitalizing health potions. Just don't craft the main ones, while I can pretty much say the same for healing bandages. As you can see, I have the standard ones equipped right here with a 4% healing per second, totaling a 40% HP over time. But if we quickly have a look at the one at the Hunter, the improved bandage, for it you're gonna need moss and especially the wound ointment, antiseptic, chamomile, gentians and silver dust. So you're gonna need silver bars for that and a whole lot more for just that 8% healing per second. I don't think it's gonna be worth your time. Simply make the superior HP potions with the Glimmer Gentian or use standard bandage combined with, of course, the beef stew and the pumpkin soup. That's already going to give you insane healing over time. If I only consume a beef stew and use a regular bandage, you can see that we already regenerate super fast. You really don't want to waste your time on farming precious resources and make, of course, those fancy regeneration items. Even the dragon boss at the very top of the Howling Peak becomes child's play with a combination of these snacks, with also regular bandages, while it is important to get your hands on the right skills to basically make all this happen. As you can't just eat 4 different types of snacks, and of course also instantly get rid of the burning ticks or damage over time that can very easily kill you. So let's quickly talk about all these. First off, I think essentials for any build would be the ones you can find in the inner circle, the lumberjack, the miner, the mason, and of course also the quality gear. You will lose durability of everything much slower and make gathering resources like chopping down trees and mining much more efficient. I think every single build should also have updraft included, as it gives you a very easy altitude bump or boost basically. It does cost a little bit of mana, but for the end game it's going to be no problemo to activate. While right here we also have the double jump. Combine this with the updraft and it's going to make it even easier to execute. You can deal like a lot of weapon damage with the jump attacks right here. But also check out the top left. This is where you can find more dexterity bonuses, but especially Dessert Stomach to gain 1 additional food slot. So then you can use 4 at the same time, increase your endurance right here. But another one which I think is very nice would be the evasion attack, with which you can also heal yourself when critting. This can be done when you use your blink ability and bam, that's gonna be a pretty heavy hit, which can be triggered with also the blink, replaces your dodge roll ability with a short range teleport. Definitely pick up the emergency blink, as then you can also use it when stunned. I think an amazing one to basically dance around on the battlefield, take care of your enemies with ease. The double jump combined with my ranger build, I think it's super satisfying because we have a slow fall when aiming and also zooming to our targets. But yes, let's move on to those farms, the essential ones. I think you already need some flax constantly growing in your base so you can make different crafting ingredients. We have different types of plants right here based on the snacks we like to eat. If we take these bushes, we get regular twigs, which are used for fletching or crafting arrows. They are very simple to make, guys. For shrub seedlings, you only need plant fiber. Just throw it in there, you're gonna have hundreds of seedlings, with which you can have an infinite twig farm at the ready. Very nice to have for archers. Right here we also have our pumpkin farms. I still have to plant a couple of those, but I also like to place the pumpkins, the flax right here, and also have a whole lot of water at the ready. If we just scoop these advanced water wells, You can take 15 water from one well before it needs refilling, which means we get a total of 30 after just a couple seconds inside our base. So I think very nice if you want to make different drinks and snacks. We're going to throw everything in here. Moving on to the most important animal farms for the end game with resources you're going to need at all times. This specifically for archer builds, but still I think essential. The new hornbilled sailors are birds you can pick up in the Kindle Waste area, an unlimited supply of feathers. As you can see, we've just picked up 71 of these bad boys. But inside my bigger barn right here, I primarily focus on, you guessed it, the fizzle goats, because these come with the fizzle goat milk, which we use for all the different snacks or consumables which we make. You can easily get over 20 milk every single time. Right now, even 30. If we wait longer, that's going to be like 40 plus. If you're having trouble with the special meat or wool, you can always place yaks inside. While in my opinion, these are overkill, as I right now have more wool than I will ever need, which is still waiting for me inside this spinning machine. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything you're gonna need for all the essential consumables and arrows. If we combine the birds with, of course, the twigs, we have infinite arrows. We can simply combine those at the hunter. You can also focus on obsidian arrows, while steel arrows are the hands down best arrows in the game, especially if you poison tip them with some extra damage over time. So how do we easily get steel? This is something that's gonna require some patience, as each process is 14 minutes long, for which you're gonna need 20 iron and 50 coal. It's pretty difficult to find both resources right next to each other, but I managed to locate a perfect spot for this. Simply make your way to the Albanese Summit's ancient spire. What you want to do from this location is fly straight down into the canyon. Near the road, you can find a cave system. If you make your way to the northeast, voila, there we have it. This is the exact location on the map, just a little bit southeast of the spire itself. But if we walk in here, you will usually find a ton of bats, maybe even spiders, but also a truckload of coal in all the different nooks and crannies right here, where I also decided to place my own flame altar. So I can always quick travel to this place. And the nice thing is, if I take out my hammer, you can see that the borders are just outside of the spawns of these two resources. So on one side right here, I have my iron. So I can just simply start swinging and get my hands on a ton of this resource. So we're gonna gather like 20 ore, and right now all we have to do is walk to this location where we can start mining for coal, just a couple meters away from the first spawn, very easily accessed with the quick travel. So again, as you can see, the border doesn't hit the coal mine right here. And the nice thing, especially if you're playing single player, what we can do right now is get back to the main menu, reboot our world, and all the resources will respawn. As you can see, all the coal is there at the same location, and we can start mining the iron once again because it's just a little bit outside the buildable area. I dare to say this is the absolute best spot to farm both coal and iron very close to each other and make all the steel bars you will ever need. Well, you're sometimes also going to need silver ore and bars, which can also be made right here. But again, you're going to need a truckload of these, which can once again be mined very close to this specific quick travel. All we need to do is jump out of the cave system and start gliding, make our way slightly to the southeast right here, as this one is filled with silver nodes. You simply want to get into the shroud and search for this pretty big pillar with a tree on top. Right here against the wall, you can already find your first silver nodes. Wow, it's super dark right now, so it's going to be more difficult to spot. Ah, there we go. We've got more silver if we just quickly fly around. There we go. And the fourth one is going to be right there. So that's going to be just a little bit up the hill. And yeah, now you can start farming that precious silver. It's probably the most difficult resource to get your hands on, as the mining can take literally forever. Not with the skills though, which we've talked about earlier. It's going to make this so much more efficient by making your tools simply more powerful. Check it out, we already have over 20 silver ore, more than enough to smelt ourselves a couple more bars. Let me quickly show you how epic the new Plaguebringer set is, by the way. My character literally lights up in the darkness. If you want to craft it yourself, you should check out the Hunter. Right here, you can get your hands on it. The full set, which is actually pretty easy to make. You don't want to equip it as the stats are pretty weak, but if you just customize your appearance, yeah, this is where you can just throw in pretty much anything to make your character look a little bit different. What I really like about the new update is that you can colorize or customize your gear with a new coloring station. First, I want to produce some color palettes, browse through all the different recipes. I've unlocked like almost 30 already, while my absolute favorite is the New Moon, because it makes this specific gear look pitch black. Especially this one right here, which now blends in very nicely with my skull head gear. Unfortunately, I can't colorize this Shrouded set, but still looks really nice. Last but definitely not least, I also quickly want to talk about building blocks, as some of these can actually be very difficult to acquire. Especially this one. The veterans will know why, but if we quickly check out the workbench, polished granite blocks, guys. 20 granite, takes a lot of time to farm this. Half timbered blocks, they require wood and clay. We've got luminescent blocks. All this is super difficult to get your hands on, while some of them will naturally appear in the world, so you don't have to go through the struggles or efforts to get your hands on all these resources. Stone, flintstone, especially the granite, pops up very frequently. So what I like to do for these is simply make my way to a town that comes with all the building blocks I like. This one right here, in the very northwestern part of the Albanese summits near Lake Luma, is called Polaris Falls. You only need 3 things for this: a construction hammer, a flame altar, and any construction block of your choice. It can be something you can easily make, simply bring a lot of them. I decided to pick granite blocks, as with this method I made literally tens of thousands. It's easy mode. The next thing you want to do is take out all the bad guys in the area, so you can place a flame altar near the blocks you want to have. I think this right here is going to be just fine. Then we're going to take out our construction hammer and choose that block which we've just picked up. Right here we have a big block, so go for the shape 4 meters by 4 meters, which is a foundation. And then you can use or not use the snapping, doesn't really matter. But yeah, right now all you have to do is simply place these blocks right next to each other and see what happens, guys. This is crazy. We're simply breaking everything in the area. We get polished and regular granite blocks, so that means we're basically unlocking everything we destroy at the same time, as well as the half timbered blocks. So if, for example, you want to make a lot of timber blocks, we just go to this little house right here and slab them down. We also want to reach the roof so we can get all the different resources. See? That's already plus 300 timbered blocks. We get some granite blocks. Right here we have polished granite. So here we go. We just place a couple of those on the floor and then destroy them afterwards. You can do this as much as you like, but important to know is that you don't want to use the undo tool, as this one will not have an effect. It will simply revert all the changes you made to the world. You want to manually right click to basically get rid of all the things. And after doing this for a couple seconds, check it out, we still have all the 5000 granite blocks, but also some extra polished granite, regular granite, conifer wood blocks, half timbered blocks, as well as some shingle roof blocks. If you somehow manage to remove the entire village and still need more blocks, what you can do to refresh it is simply get rid of your altar, deactivate it, then wait for 30 seconds until it's gone. So now we know that there is no more building area. We're gonna quickly get back to the main menu. And voila, all the blocks have respawned. Of course, they're gonna have to deal with the enemies once again, but that basically allows you to get your hands on an infinite amount of building blocks for any type of building project. I think it's an amazing trick with which you save a lot of time. Don't have to worry about getting your hands on all the resources before you start building. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, all the essential farms, everything you need to know to basically get the most out of your endgame in Enshrouded. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to leave a like, helps out a ton, and share your favorite farm spots or farm methods in general in the comments, so you can help the community even more. Guys, a big thanks for watching. Keen Games, once again, a big thanks for making today's video possible. I hope to see you guys very soon with more content on the channel. Right now though, it's 4 AM out. I want to wish you an amazing day. I'll check you in the next video or live stream. Peace.